Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you this morning? All right, did you love that video? Wasn't that excellent? Well, I'm assistant coach Sean Key, and I want to know one thing. Do you have your whistle on? Are you thinking, what in the world is coaching all about? Well, I'm here to talk to you today, and I have a special guest with me, all about coaching. What it is, why it's important, who to coach, all the fundamentals of coaching. So are you ready to get started? Excellent. Well, let me ask you a question to start off with. Are you coachable? Good, that's important because in order to be a great coach, you must first be coachable. All right, so are you ready to meet my special head coach for this program this morning? She has a heart and soul of Mary Kay in her. She is a phenomenal leader. She's been $1 million sales director multiple times, and now she's a new independent national sales director. Please welcome Amy Gamboyan.
Good morning.
Morning, Coach.
Good morning, Assistant Coach, and good morning, everybody. I am so excited about this class because becoming a champion coach and coaching champions is absolutely one of my passions. I will also tell you that it was one of the critical inches in developing a national area. We've got a lot to cover this morning. Are you ready to get going?
All right, let's have a seat on the bench, Coach. Okay, so let's jump right into it, Amy. What is coaching?
You know, coaching is a relationship-focused, interactive teaching style that involves just as much participation from the player as it does the coach. I want to give you a picture to have in your mind. It's like having an over-coffee conversation where there's equal dialogue happening back and forth versus just a teacher standing at the front of a classroom. Another component that is so important to coaching is that it involves you being an active listener. That means listening both with your ears and with your heart, reading between the lines, listening for the emotion behind the information that she's sharing. You know, Mary Kay Ash always said that we couldn't coach someone or lead someone that we don't care about. So being emotionally engaged in the process is important as well. Another key component of coaching is having a powerful presence and being right there in the moment. You know, Sean, I think about coaches and they're right there on the sideline and they never leave the game. So when you're coaching someone, you're connected to her in the game at the beginning, you're connected and in the game at the middle point, halftime, regardless of the score, and you're most definitely connected to her arm in arm as she's crossing the finish line. The last thing that I'll share with you that coaching is all about is it's about servant leadership. And of course, we have the privilege of having an incredible founder who modeled servant leadership, was the epitome of servant leadership. What's the essence of that? It's putting other people's needs and goals before your own. You know, Mary Kay Ash always said, when you help enough other people get what they want, you will get what you want.
Absolutely. That's great, Amy. Well, why is coaching important?
So important in our business, and wouldn't you all agree that it's such an important component? You know, for several reasons. One of the reasons why coaching is so important is because people will support, as Mary Kay Ash always taught us, that which they have a part of, that which they're involved in building. I know we would all agree that this is very much a team sport and that together we can achieve more. It's also more of a show business than a tell business. Incredible National Sales Director Barbara Sundin reminded us yesterday that it's not what's taught, it's what's caught. The things that we share and through dialogue and learn from each other in coaching, belief and trust and encouragement and leadership mindset, all of those things are embodied in the coaching process. Lastly, I'll share with you that I think coaching is so important because it helps you to establish a foundation of trust and intentional focus on that other person. And we know that more than anything, our business is one that is a relationships building business.
Absolutely. You are so right, Amy. Can you just share with the audience for a second how important it is to be is it important to be a great player in order to be a great coach?
You know, it's often been said, many wise people have remarked that the best students often become the very best leaders. And so at all levels of our career in Mary Kay, I believe that we're always learning, we're always students, and yet we also have the opportunity to be leaders as well.
Excellent. Great. Now let's transition into the different types of coaching. I know there is informal coaching and there's formal coaching. So let's dive into informal coaching first, and let's talk about that for a minute.
Absolutely. You know, informal coaching, gang, it's what we do all the time as leaders. It's just a part of who we are. And so you maybe have not even noticed all the times that you've been coaching, but a couple of things that really would embody informal coaching. I like to think of it as it's like the coaching that happens from appointment to appointment. It's the day-to-day connection. I think about all the incredible women in my national area that I'm privileged to be able to lead and coach, and oftentimes that kind of coaching is checking emotional temperature, checking business activity that's set up for that day or maybe isn't set up yet for that day, and some encouragement is needed there. Informal coaching often involves having some quick conversations, so quick dialogue back and forth. It also gives you an opportunity to recognize growth areas in the moment. And Sean, I love this because we are so blessed in this business to have major learn opportunities that come all the time. Sometimes the very best time to capitalize on a learning opportunity for that player and coach as well is right after an appointment has been held. You know, maybe she's coming off of a party and maybe she's not feeling that her confidence was that great there. And so the best coaching opportunity is right then, right after it's happened. It's fresh in her mind and you can take her back to, well, let's talk about your intro. What are maybe 3 things you could have done that would have helped you to feel more confident? Or maybe it was closing, for example. So the right here and now of coaching opportunities are very, very powerful. You'll notice too that with the informal coaching, it is packed with support, belief, encouragement, edifying her, and praising her for the little steps that she's taking. We all know that it's the little victories that create the big victories in the end.
Absolutely. So it sounds like informal coaching means just on the spot, right in that moment. You can't predict what is going to happen to her, so you have to be ready at all times to coach her through whatever victory she's just achieved or whatever challenge she's just faced. Is that correct?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's not as strategic. You know, you have to trust yourself and your leadership, that you have invested in you and that you're in that servant leader mentality. And we'll talk about a coach's state of mind in a couple minutes, but it is in the here and now. Yeah. And to go with your desire to lead and encourage and love that consultant to success. It's powerful, those little moments.
Yeah, so every coach starts off with a game plan, but because there are different challenges and obstacles that come up and different wins that come up throughout the course of the game, they have to adjust. It sounds like coaching in the moment and being informal coach means adjusting to the needs of that person at that moment.
Absolutely, Sean, I totally agree. And you know, it also makes me think of leaving the rigidity behind. Becoming a really flexible leader and being able to go with the flow, allowing yourself to be creative, and remembering that really the essence of coaching isn't having all the answers. It's helping another person discover the answers in the process of that conversation.
Excellent. Great, great. So let's move on to formal coaching. What is that all about?
Yeah, formal coaching. How I like to think of formal coaching, and you may do it in more of an individual environment, also small groups work well with this as well, but here are a couple of points of that. You know, in a formal coaching environment, you're likely to have set appointments, set appointment times where you're gathering during the week and it's at a certain day and a certain time, and everybody's planning on that. Everybody's coming to the table prepared for that appointment. It's more of a strategic process where you as a leader are thinking in advance of some things that you'd maybe like to put on the table and have some discussion about, maybe related to her business activity that week or over the course of the previous month. And here's the other great thing. She has the opportunity to bring her agenda to the table as well, because remember, coaching is just as much about that other person as it is about the leader. It's equal exchange. The last thing that I'll share about formal coaching is in its strategic concept, it's more related to long-term business and self-development. So you can tackle some of the bigger issues of growth that aren't necessarily going to be changed or developed overnight. Both are great.
Excellent. So let's just imagine February's coming up.
Yeah.
Do you already have in your mind some of the formal coaching conversations you're going to have in February at this point?
I do.
You do?
I do, and I also, Sean, have in mind who would be involved in those conversations.
Okay.
And along with that, maybe who wouldn't be for this next round of coaching.
Excellent. Well, that kind of leads me to our next topic, which is the drafting of the players. Can we talk a little bit about who should be included in those coaching conversations and who maybe shouldn't be included in those coaching conversations, and what's the difference between the two?
Absolutely. You know, I know there are a lot of questions in the audience today about this. You know, that question of how do I know if she's someone that I need to be investing more time into right now in a coaching environment, or is she not quite ready for that? I would just love to ask you before we jump into that, raise your hands if any of you have ever experienced spending time in coaching someone who maybe wasn't ready for that level of your commitment to them and to the process of growth. And I too am raising my hand. I understand, and that's just a part of the process. It's a part of the journey. And so we've all been there. But let me just share with you, you know, I know that I would have felt the same feelings that you probably felt in that situation. You know, I know that I felt frustrated. That's not a good place to be. I know that I have felt in that situation a little bit unappreciated, that my time wasn't maybe appreciated, or what I was pouring into or investing in that person wasn't being as appreciated as I would want it to be for that level of investment. I know that also I have feelings in that situation of maybe ineffectively using my time and missing opportunities to work with those women in the organization who really are ready right now women. Now, Sean, I know that that's one of your passions.
Yes, absolutely. Ready right now women are definitely my passion. And, you know, oh. This is a PG-13 program, people. Dirty minds. I get excited about Ready Right Now women. You know, they definitely are a topic of conversation in our Mary Kay world right now, and there is something that distinguishes a ready right now woman from someone who is not ready right now, and it's an attitude, it's a confidence that she possesses. Usually, you don't know how she's going to perform because she might be brand new to the Mary Kay opportunity. So as you get to understand who she is, her picture, her purpose, her passion, and her possibilities, then you're able to decide, is she ready right now or is she not ready right now? And for those ready right now women, it's a level 7 or higher confidence on a scale of 1 to 10. Those are the women who you can plug into the Mary Kay culture quickly because they are already coming into the opportunity with that confidence that they are able to change the world, that they are able to understand the business and go to work quickly on the processes that we have in place for someone to be successful. So it's less about how many parties she has done because she might be new, and it's more about, does she have a desire to be a winner? Does she have a desire to be a champion? Does she have a desire to be a leader in our company? She is, of course, obviously going to start by building her customer base and holding parties, but with the intention of becoming a leader versus someone who's just in the business to sell Mary Kay. Everyone's in the business to sell Mary Kay, but there are those few women who join for the business opportunity as well. They're a smaller percentage, but we must treat them as the leaders that they are choosing to be and not just have them running in circles month after month, year after year. You tend to lose great leaders when they are stuck at the beginning stages of the process too long. So, ready right now, women? Have that confidence, and they have the desire to be a leader at the very beginning of their journey.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I know you all agree. In hearing Sean describe those characteristics of Ready Right Now women, did you get excited? Did you feel excitement just within you of imagining yourself mentoring and coaching women who are at that level? Just so we get this point, because it's so important. It's so important. You see, we can spend so much time working with the wrong people. So here's the opposite side of that. You know, when you're trying to coach someone who isn't ready right now, here would be some indicators. If you're wondering, what am I looking for? That would be maybe that red flag of maybe she just isn't ready right now. It doesn't mean not ever, but just maybe not right now. She has an unenthusiastic attitude, shows a lack of appreciation for the time that you're investing, or just isn't valuing that time. You often find that the same conversation seems to replay itself over and over and over again, with a lack of conversation about new appointments that have been held or new prospects that she's working with. She may seem unwilling to implement your suggestions, a little bit more comfortable and complacent, perhaps not as solutions-oriented as we would anticipate her to be, and probably isn't working with a great sense of urgency. I would guess is someone who maybe is a little bit more talk than she is walk. And when I think of all the things that Sean described with a Ready Right Now person, this is an individual who needs no encouragement, really. It's all coming from within.
Yes.
And you as a coach are just fanning those wings so that she can fly.
Absolutely.
She's already in flight, but you just keep fanning the wings. Wouldn't you say that's true?
Totally, absolutely. And with the ones who are not ready right now, it sounds like they need a consistent and simple system to get them those small wins so that they can start building their confidence and be ready to lead in the future.
Absolutely. And you know what? We can't forget how powerful small victories are in creating almost like notches on your belt of confidence, and how they grow us from the inside out so we're ready for a new level of coaching.
Excellent. So it sounds like to me, Amy, that you have your starting lineup, which are your Ready Right Now beauty consultants, and you have the reserve team, the people on the practice squad, and they're on the bench during the game, but they practice and they're working towards being a starter one day. So you're coaching two different types of beauty consultants. Mm-hmm. Is that correct?
That's absolutely correct. And you know, we have to just think about, you know, what game is it that we want to play, and are we in it to win it? Are we in it to win it? And a coach who's in it to win it is going to play that first string of players, but be warming up that background group ready to go at any time.
Excellent. Great, great, great. Let's talk a little bit more about the actual coach. I've heard of something called the coach's state of mind. Can you elaborate on that?
Absolutely. You know, we've got to be powered up. And so I think of a few things as I just think of myself and going into those coaching situations, and always with the goal of, whether it's informal or formal, that I am ready, that I am on my A game, I am in the zone. I can bring a 10++ in presence in my leadership and coaching. And so these would be just a few real basic, this almost seems elementary, I know, but just little refreshers of what you want to bring to the table in thought process before a coaching conversation. So we know we're of servant leader mindset, and more importantly, of heart. So that's already set. But here are a couple of questions that you may want to ask yourself. Just think in your mind, do a little reminder check. Who am I going to be coaching right now? What is her primary personality style? What are some of her natural strengths? Where is she at right now in life, in all of the roles she's playing and in the hats that she's juggling? Where is she at in her business, not just on the career path, but what's her emotional temperature? And the last question I will ask myself is, where did we leave our last session with each other so we can pick up and run from where we left off?
Excellent. So it sounds like coaching is ongoing. It's not a start and stop process. It's a building towards a successful new player, possibly new coach. Is that correct?
Absolutely. An ongoing process of dialogue. More importantly, it's an ongoing process of growth. And before we get into really developing your toolbox and giving you a couple real specifics that you can work from, I want to just give you a reminder that one of the greatest things about coaching is that you can bring your style, your individuality, you brand it with who it is that you are as a leader that you bring to the table. It isn't about having perfect dialogues and having perfect scripts. It's about being present to the moment, being an active listener, engaging with her, and allowing that conversation to guide you to what is the most appropriate guidance and suggestions that you can make for her, or even better, to help her to discover.
Excellent. All right. So coaching is all about bringing what's already inside of someone out, right? A discovery from within on their part, not on the coach's part. Excellent. All right. So you talked about a toolbox. What is in a coach's toolbox, Amy?
This is exciting, you guys. This is so exciting because today I can tell you that all of us are only at the beginning. And I know that to be true because we have so much growth potential within our business opportunity in Mary Kay. So we're always growing, we're always learning, we've never arrived. But this morning, Sean, we talked about it would be helpful maybe to have 3 tools that we could help you put in your toolbox right away so that when you go back home and go to work, you feel really equipped with some of those first conversations you're going to have with those ready right now women. So the first theory that I want to share with you, and even though we're using the term theory, it's not going to get real formal here. I think you're going to know most of these things actually. But the first one we're going to refer to is called 3 whys. Let me unpack this for you. We all know that our why is our most powerful motivator. That when we have our why deeply embedded in our hearts and in our spirits, there are very few obstacles, circumstances, or challenges that will get in our way. The other thing that's so powerful about helping someone remind herself about what her why is that in the moments where she may be tempted to focus on the little mundane daily tasks of our business, she will instead, with her why as her focus, keep the big picture and the main thing, the main thing. The last thing that I will share with you about 3 whys that is so powerful is that we all know that our prospects and our clients are more excited about hearing why we do what we do, why we're excited and passionate about reaching a goal versus just what goal we're reaching. So as you help her verbalize her why over and over again, she is strengthened in the process of belief herself that she is going to get there and better able to verbalize that. So here's how it would look. This is very, very simple. I'm going to give you an example. There would be maybe 3 questions like this, because this is an unpacking, and often you'll get to the real why of why she's excited about what she's doing or her main reason to choose to move forward once you've unpacked it a little bit. So the first question might be something as simple as, share with me why you'd love to reach that goal this month. The second question can be, why is that important to you? The third question might be, why would that make a significant impact on your business and life right now? Just some basic why questions like that.
Amy, I think you should repeat those for the audience because I know they can't write that fast. It's 9 o'clock in the morning.
I would love to. And you'll think of even better ones than these, but this will just get you started. Why do you want to reach that goal this month? Why is that important to you? Why will that make a significant difference for you right now in your business and in your life?
Excellent. Do you have that? Oh, now you just write too slowly then. Get it from a neighbor, because we're moving on. Okay, and with that, Amy, I want to let you know about one of our newest and most exciting tools on coaching that's coming up. It's coming very soon, in fact, and it's a new Coaching to Connect video series. So won't you all take a look at this video?
Leadership is taking others where you have already been. And here comes the big question. How? Coaching.
Are you looking to develop potential leaders? Find out more on coaching with the Coaching to Connect video series.
You don't have to come up with all the right answers or solutions. You simply release the outcome. It becomes her choice.
It's all about asking more questions, unlocking potential, building leadership capabilities, and achieving results that motivate her. The first Coaching to Connect video plus printable material will be available online on the Silver Wing Scholar program directly after Leadership Conference. And the series continues in May with more great videos from more great coaches.
The question is, are you ready to coach and bring out the champion in them?
Is that exciting? Are you ready for that? It's going to be incredible. Well, Amy, we covered number 1 in your 3 whys. What's number 2?
Okay, so here's the second tool that we're going to place in your toolbox today. This is called the hold your cards theory. Here's the scoop. I know that it might be very challenging to hold yourself back from sharing all of the answers when you know that you have them and you're probably right. After all, you've walked the journey, right? You've got a lot of experience under your belt. However, it is so important that we don't jump in and answer all the questions or just provide the information without allowing that ready right now woman to figure it out on her own. Here's something interesting. Recent studies show that in human motivation, 2 out of the 3 components relate to people figuring things out on their own. One is called autonomy. That's taking something, putting your own stamp to it, adding your own signature to it, autographing it, if you will, making it your own. The second is mastery. Mastery is having a challenge. It's having to learn a new skill. It's having to figure something out from the beginning and getting it to the end process to the very best of your own capability. And studies show that those 2 things motivate people a lot. So we don't want to take that away from them. So here's the deal. When you're thinking about jumping in, I want to give you an acronym. And the acronym is WAIT. And that simply stands for why am I talking? Why am I talking, okay? Affirm her in her responses. Continue to ask questions so she's the one figuring out the next best steps on her process. That's the hold your cards theory, Sean.
Excellent. I have a new acronym for you, WAIST, waste. Why am I still talking? Because some of you need that one, and you know who you are. Okay, Amy. All right, so we're going to dig a little deeper into the toolbox, and let's talk about inspecting what you expect a little bit.
Absolutely. You know, we had the privilege of hearing Barbara talk about this yesterday, and the inspect what you expect theory, it's rooted in the concept of assume nothing. This is a theory that helps you checkpoint not just if she knows what to do, but more importantly, why she's doing it and why she's doing it then. You know, Sean, I always think about, and I say this a lot, that one of the things that separates the good from the great in Mary Kay is not just what they do, it's what they're thinking when they do it and when they do what they do. This theory really helps us to be able to unpack that. What it also does is it really helps you to effectively set her up to be successful. It reminds us as coaches that our role is to empower her to think like a leader. Now, when we're working with Ready Right Now women, here's one of the greatest things. They already do. They already do think like leaders. So this theory and this method of coaching just helps us to checkpoint that, and it actually just gives us lots of opportunity to edify and to praise and to encourage. So let me share with you what this would look like with 3 questions. Under inspect what you expect, you can write these 3 things. The first question would be simply, do you know what to do? So if I'm coaching Sean and he's expressed to me, I want to be a new red jacket, star team builder this month, I'm in a checkpoint. That's great. I'm so excited about that. Thrilled to see you step into that position. Do you know what to do in order to get there? And he may not. And oftentimes that's the case, so we want to assume nothing. It seems like a basic question, but it can open up a teaching opportunity for you. The second question is simply, do you know when to do it? One of the key things that we teach in Mary Kay from the very beginning is learning how to manage time and often juggling this business with a full-time or part-time job, children at home, school, whatever it might be. And so that when component is really important as we look at setting people up to be successful every single month. And your last question, and I really love this one, is how willing are you to do what needs to be done in order to get there? And I like to use a scale of 1 to 10 so they can rank themselves a 1 to 10. A 1 is low, a 10 is high. So I find that if we're below a 7 or 8, there's probably more dialogue and communication that we need to have about potential hurdles or obstacles that could present themselves. Why I love that question is that we're having that conversation, we're discussing it now, not at the end of the month. We're discussing potential hurdles and obstacles up front. So that is the inspect what you expect theory.
Excellent, Amy. Wow, you guys, let's hear for Amy Gamboyan. She truly is a master coach. I appreciate that information so much. And as we just saw, that new video series will be launching shortly after Leadership Conference, and this video series will be live on Silver Wings, you guys, on Mary Kay In Touch, and will be available on your mobile devices as well in both English and Spanish, so you can pull them up anywhere you are. The first segment is featuring Independent National Sales Director Ari Hathaway, and will be coming to you this month, and the full series will launch in May. So are you excited about that? Well, when you registered for Leadership Conference by November 26th, we invited you to select your most challenging coaching question and send it in to us. Well, the #1 coaching question was, how do I coach someone who says she is ready to move up the career path, but her actions show a lack of commitment? Well, we're going to dig into that a little bit deeper. And if you registered by November 26th, we also invite you to share an additional question with the possibility of that conversation being role-played right here on our stage with our head coach. So before we find out who the lucky winner is, Amy, we want to make 5 of you instant winners right now. Are you ready for this? Who wants to win this classic black clutch? Okay, so if you see your name and unit number appear on the screen, come to the right of our stage to claim your prize. Let's start the scrambler. Our lucky winners are Angela Springer, Marisa Vigo, Tanisha McFadden, Karen Lorenzo, and Nicole Bizanson. Congratulations. Well, now it's time. The time has come to find out who's going to be joining us on stage, Amy. Are you ready to see who our lucky team player is?
Absolutely, I can't wait.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Sales Director Nola Beckley.